Hey Dan, where are we going?
We are going to one of the most insane caves that's located in this park. It is actually home to traditional spiritual Native American rituals, and we are currently walking there.
I've never been in a cave like this before.
I thought we were going to
Wait, is this where it starts?
one of us saying that.
632, 650.
They all slowly walked up the hill. They left the car. They'd never return.
Ow! Oh, that could be the hill. Everything could be the hill. Oh yeah, there's people back there. Oh gosh.
Those people that just passed by us, so that they're heading right there. Careful, just stick there.
We love you.
Can you go over the swamp?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I'm actually concerned for its safety. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel far away from my
I know, it's like, there goes the baby.
Flashlight's attached to him. Oh, it's a cute caterpillar.
It's so
It's
fuzzy.
fuzzy.
It looks like a pipe cleaner.
Can we take him with us? Can we take it?
Wow.
I'll name him Bill.
It does keep going.
Maybe if you do that, maybe I'll... Alright.
My light is on.
Alright, we're doing it for the video. Alright, so, I mean, the sun is setting and we want to hear a ghost story.
Yeah.
Or we want to hear a scary story. A scary true story.
Hello, YouTube. Hello, friends. So the story that actually happened was I was with two friends that I've known for 10 years and we were down on Christopher Street on the 1 train. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the area. It's pretty nice, like, you know, hip, has a good vibe. It was a rainy day and we had like an hour to kill, so we went down to the pier by the water. So we go up to the water just to gaze out at the view, and this woman comes up to my friend, and all, like, I heard her say, because I was like kind of in a distance, she's like, do you think it's real? And we're like, do you think what is real? And we just look down in the water and literally there's like a pale hand like just floating from like under the dock, and I was like, I don't even know how I reacted. Like, it's kind of hard to remember, but like just telling it, it's just like, I can't believe this happened. I was like, oh,
Scary.
yeah.
And
And
Christopher Street?
Christopher Street.
It's like in the middle of everything.
Yeah, and we just see a hand, like an arm floating, and it's like pale as day. Like,
Did you call the police?
yeah, so basically we called, well, they called the cops like shortly after, and the whole pier just became like a crime scene. Like, it was dark by this point, like there were red lights flashing everywhere, like construction taped like completely off, and then like you just see a rescue boat coming in and you see them like taking the body, and it was confirmed, and it looked like it was like he looked like he was like from the mafia or something. Like, it was scary. Like, he
Probably
was like
the
Like
mafia.
an older
he was like
40-year-old
Russian,
man.
yeah, like just like,
Russian mob.
yeah, so they like,
Yeah.
you just see them like dragging it through the water, and yes, like he was just so pale, and like I couldn't see a face, but
Did you see it on the news, or like was it
no,
solved?
we actually looked up like I extensively like did research and looked up articles, and we never found anything about it. So I think they just kept it confidential. I don't know.
But
When
you
was
saw
this?
them physically bring the body out.
Yeah,
You
like
stayed there and you waited. To
we
see
didn't
that.
stay, like all we saw was like the first half of it, like they dragged it, like they took it onto like a rescue boat, but we didn't see, like they took it on a stretcher, like we didn't see like anything after that. But like we were basically like, us and that girl were the ones that like reported it. But yeah, like
When was this again?
it was like like over a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just interesting because for me it's like, you would never really think that something like that would happen to you, but I mean, yeah, there we were. It was real, and it was really cryptic, and I felt like I was in a movie. But yeah, it definitely wasn't even funny. Like, I don't know, I kind of feel weird talking about it on camera. These things are real, and you think it would never happen to you, but like we were literally in the middle of a crime scene, you know.
One of the earliest folktales that attempts to explain the name Shades of Death claims that the area was at one time home to a pack of vicious wildcats. According to one account, the ferocious nature of these beasts was so well known around the area that early settlers referred to what is now Petersburg as both Cat Hollow and Cat Swamp. There is still a road located nearby called Cat Swamp Road. Supposedly, Shades of Death earned its name because these vicious wildcats often attacked and killed those who traveled along it. There are still other explanations of how Shades acquired its name that have less to do with murder and more to do with death by natural causes. The road traverses an area known as the Great Meadows, which upon its original settlement was a vast area of marshy swampland. Around 1850, a malaria outbreak occurred near a cliff face along Shades. As the citizens around Shades came to expect yearly outbreaks of this terrible disease, they anticipated the annual spate of deaths of friends and family members that came along with it. Like any community, their landmarks, in particular this one road, came to reflect the morose attitude they had regarding these epidemics. The state put up over $100,000 to drain the lands. After they completed the draining in 1884, malaria died down, and the name Shades of Death was the last reminder of that darker time in history. As to the origins of the name Ghost Lake, which lies alongside Shades of Death Road, some have credited the infamous moniker of this New Jersey landmark to a few local citizens' flair for melodrama. Two residents of the road, William Krause Jr. and Leon G. Hull, deemed a stream connecting their property and named the resulting lake Ghost Lake. They also named a nearby mountain Murderer's Mountain and their property Haunted Hollow. Today, Shades of Death Road is still a mysterious, foreboding place. Whether it was wildcats, men, or strains of bacteria, something about this tract of land caused its earliest settlers to imbue upon the name that speaks of death. No matter which legends or facts you choose to believe, it would seem that the name offered up as a warning from beyond the grave to those who might travel this dark path, unaware of its potential hazards. It also makes the road a perfect setting for more than a few ghostly tales.
So there's this story, and it's a kind of similar circumstance to us. It's like, well, we're not teenagers anymore, but it's a group of teenagers, and they're like, oh, let's go down like Shades of Death Road, and they're like talking about all the stories and like the things that happened in the past, like it's history. And basically nothing happened to them until this one point. They're in their car, like they heard like footsteps in the woods, and they were like, well, the sure as hell ain't a bunny. So they like got in their car and they were all getting ready to leave. Basically everyone just freezes, and they said there's this random mist or fog that is slowly moving, kind of like crawling across to the other side of the street, and it's gradually getting thicker. It starts off small and begins to rise a little more. It's so white in the headlights of the car. I'm like, what is that? No one answers me. Suddenly the damn car stalls. Great. Carrie turns off the headlights and says I have to turn them off to turn the car back on. So basically they said all of a sudden they hear this loud little girl laugh, and the fog is gone and it was silent. I don't think they made it up. There's a lot of details in there. I mean, you have to be really good at crafting. Hold on, let me just look for one more. Went out there a few years ago. I am all for paranormal events and took the situation head on. We had a 3-car progression, and we all pulled off the side of a road into a clearing of sorts and parked. They began walking towards the lake. From the corner of my eye, I saw what looked like a bright light from the opposite side of the lake. We were still making our way towards the lake, so it was hard to pinpoint exactly what I was seeing, but the cabin was already in view. After trying to focus on the light for 30 seconds or so, I heard a shuffle to my left, which was now where the rest of my group was relative to me. Oh my god. Again, I was still about 20 yards away, standing up on top of a small hill. As I turned to look, assuming it was one of my friends trying to spook one of the girls with us, I noticed, oh my god, I noticed a shadow, in quotations, dart across my friend's path just behind them. At first I thought, I don't know, maybe it was just a friend trying to spook everyone, as I said, but it moved just a bit too fast. Oh my god, that's actually weird. No way any of my friends could move that fast and remain completely shrouded in the darkness. Just as I saw and heard it, they all stopped immediately and spun around, because that's what you do when you hear something scamper behind you. We stopped and fell silent. Oh my god. I'm getting nervous. About 10 seconds later is when all hell broke loose. To the left of us, on the other side of the path, we heard something move in the bushes and weeds. It sounded like something was trying to hide in them. They're saying we heard a thump. It sounded like someone carrying a sack or something heavy, a body for example, and they dropped it. That is when everyone took off running back to our cars. As I made my way down the hill and back towards my friends, I felt an uncommon breeze for the night. It wasn't windy, what the hell. My friend's car got stuck. A few of us jumped out to help so we could get out of there ASAP. We rocked his car and got him back on the road. Just as myself and 3 other friends were jumping back into our cars, we all saw the same thing. We recounted it later as we stopped for some food at a small hot dog place nearby. Just past our headlights, along the path that we had just come from, was a shadow, just standing there, watching. The shadows all around the shadow moved from the trees and the moonlight and so on, but not this one. I tried to make it out, but it just passed our field of view and was almost blurry, but we all saw it. We didn't say anything about it till we were at the hot dog place eating, making jokes about who was the biggest pussy and so on. But still, it kind of got real when my friend mentioned that shadow. Just it didn't move. I don't know exactly what it was, and I almost was tempted to move towards it. But whatever it was telling us to leave before something we would regret would happen. A side note, the last car in our progression swore he said a white light behind his car followed him for a little while up the road. Oh my god. Everyone in the car confirmed it was true, but of course our 2 other cars saw nothing. I think the thump in the forest is really scary. Like, they said they heard somebody like throw something on the ground near them.
Yeah,
that's scary.
That's terrifying. Yeah.
And also the other story with the girls where they heard like something walking towards them, but there was nothing there.
Hey Siri.
Yes.
Hey Siri.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes?
When does the sun set?
When you tell me to, my dear.
Sunset will be at 7:12 p.m. today.
It says when you tell me, like,
7:12. So
what time is it now?
6:43,
Let me ask her something.
which means that is roughly 30 minutes.
Say, hey Siri, are you single?
Hey Siri, are you single?
Oh,
I just passed it.
We're checked.
You passed it.
No, it said office this way. Because remember we passed that table?
Yeah.
Hey Siri, sing me a song.
God.
I'd rather leave that to the professionals.
Her responses are so good.
Hey Siri, sing me a lullaby.
Oh, I can see his lights. That's when you know.
Me getting.
I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. In my head I'd be scratching.
It's poetry.
While the thoughts were busy hatching.
If I only had
If I
rain.
only had a... Hey, wait a second.
Huh?
Mhm.
Ew, that's creepy.
Here's part 2 of me getting car sick.